Hello and welcome to the Android OS Guide. This is chapter 8 where we're going to be talking about transferring data onto your Android device and or syncing. So whether that's syncing music, photos, backing up, and several methods and applications that you can use out there to transfer data. So if you just got a new Android device or if maybe you're upgrading to a new one, you want to take your data off the old one and put it onto the new device, then we're going to be covering a little bit about that. So first off, talking about data transfer, there's a lot of different things we can talk about. First off, we're going to be covering backing up, so transferring to a new device and how you can kind of do that on stock Android. Talk a little bit about moving media as far as PC and Mac alternatives and methods of which you can do that. So moving any sort of content, whether music, photos, and so on. So when it comes to backing up, Android has a couple features built in and stuff that you can go into the settings and just adjust. So for example, if you go into your settings, you'll see a feature called backup and reset on most Android devices nowadays. And you'll see things like backup data as far as Wi-Fi passwords and other settings to Google servers. This backs up are what's known as Google Sync. So if your Android device is set up with a Google account, usually an @Gmail account, this will automatically save app data, Wi-Fi passwords, and most common settings to your Google account. This is really useful in that when you reinstall an app or it's restored from backup settings and data, it'll automatically have your high scores, your levels that you've unlocked, any settings or toggles that you may have changed within a specific app. And this same settings also allow you to factory reset a phone. So if you want to just erase a phone, maybe you're going to sell it or you just want to have it back to stock, you can completely erase it from here and then restore it from, again, a backup. So Google Sync is the first and foremost thing. It's stock. It's built into Android. You can back up a lot of stuff up to your Google account and then save it, obviously, and then restore from it or put it onto a new device whenever you upgrade. Now, there's a lot of third-party apps when it comes to backing up as well. There's things like My Backup Pro, there's Dropbox, there's a whole bunch of different backup applications that you can use, and it's all up to you. You can look in the Google Play Store, you can do a Google web search, and look up all sorts of different third-party applications to back up your device as far as data. And of course, we're going to be talking about methods how you can kind of just manually sync stuff to your desktop, whether it's Windows or Mac. And take your photos off, take music off, videos off. That way you can have local or backup storage on your desktop and then drag those over when you upgrade to a new phone. So again, a lot of different ways to back up your content and move it off, whether it's Google Sync or using third-party applications. Moving on to the sync methods, there's a couple ways you can do this. First off, you can do it wired, just using the cable that kind of comes with your Android device. Most devices will come with a data transfer cable, and you can use it in conjunction with software. Unlike iOS, which is kind of all managed under iTunes, Android kind of gives you options. You can use the default OS Explorer windows to kind of navigate around. You can use third-party applications. You can use cloud-based applications like Dropbox, which I previously mentioned, to sync media on and off of your device. And of course, there's wireless solutions, which we'll be taking a look at. For example, AirDroid is one that's very popular, which we'll take a look at the very end. So when it comes to moving media on your device, there's a lot of different ways to do this depending on your platform and how you want to go about it. For example, on Windows, there's really no extra software needed. However, there is a lot of different third-party stuff out there that you can grab. Otherwise, you can just use it like a regular Windows Explorer. What I mean by that, it's like plugging in a USB pen drive. It shows up under My Computer as a device. So for example, if your Android device has a data transfer cable and you can sync it with your PC, you simply plug it in and most of the time it'll just show up as a hard drive. Additionally, if it has external storage or technically internal storage, if it has things like an SD card or a micro SD, I should say, on your device for expandable, adding more memory, you can easily back up your photos and data on your Android device to your SD card, and then from there take it out the SD card and put it into an adapter to plug it into your Mac or PC, or leave it in the phone, plug it in via the cable, and then explore through Windows Explorer, again, My Computer, and simply drag and drop whatever you need. So again, there is no extra software needed by default. However, there's a lot of different stuff you can get, and depending on your phone, sometimes they have specific software. Sometimes the manufacturer will give you software. But again, there's no just kind of one set thing on like iTunes or on iOS for iTunes. That's like a one media manager. Android gives you a lot of different options depending on the platform you're on and gives you really more control in the sense that you can just kind of plug it in and then really navigate through and move media vice versa. So for what I mean by that is you can move media off of your device, of course, onto your Mac or PC, but you can also move media from your Mac or PC like music, photos, video, text documents, to the phone. And if you got a new phone and you want to sync all that stuff back onto the device, you can do that as well. On the Mac, there's a very popular third-party software called Android File Transfer. It's an application for Macintosh computers that allow you to view and transfer files between your Mac and Android. Again, so back and forth. It requires Android 3.0 or later and OS 10 on 10.5 or later. This is, again, one of the best third-party applications out there for you to allow your Android device to interact with your Mac very friendly and very easily. And again, like I said, external hardware, you can move media that way as well. You can take the micro SD out, you can put it into an adapter and plug that adapter into your laptop, desktop, whatever it may be, or you can plug it in via the cable. There's just all sorts of ways for you to move media. And like I said, we talked previously about Dropbox and wireless transfers. You can do all sort of that cloud sync, and there's even Google Drive, which is kind of integrated with Android if you use Google services. But there's also a really popular service called AirDroid, which I'm going to demo to you now, and how you can kind of move media that way as well. So here we're taking a look at a very popular service called AirDroid. Basically, it's your Android on the web. You can manage your Android device from a web browser wirelessly. Again, this is great in the fact that there's no cables needed. It's very simple to set up, and you don't have to deal with a lot of kind of third-party software. You just have to deal with AirDroid. You can do a lot of crazy stuff too, like you can receive SMS on your computer screen without being distracted by the small, by your Android device itself. It's just one less worry. Also, it has things like tracking on your device. It integrates a lot of great stuff, so you can view a lot of your Android media on your desktop and on your web browser. However, again, this is all wireless, so transferring data and stuff like that does take a little bit more time as it's not wired, so depending on your network connection and all of that. But you can easily manage apps, take your files as far as music and photos, and easily just do it all without a USB cable. So you can simply get Android or AirDroid via the Google Play Store. And once you install it, it'll show up on your device like this. So let's say this is your device. What it's going to tell you to do is go to your web browser on your laptop, whether it's Mac or PC, and plug in this address right here. And once you do that, you'll get a confirmation on your device. And then once you give it access, this is what you're going to see on your web browser. You'll be able to see your messages, apps, contacts, files, screenshots, music, ringtones, all sorts of content on your Android device. You can then click into it and then transfer between your PC or Mac or your Android device. So you can do it backwards. For example, you can upload certain files here, like a file URL or a clipboard or a specific app, to an SD card, or just the general storage on your Android device. So you can see here, it gives you real great root access. It gives you real deep down access to your Android device here, and you can easily move photos and things of that nature in a really user-friendly way. So, again, really nice all in your browser here, and it even shows your Android device data up here. So AirDroid is a really, really popular third-party software out there that allows you to interact with your device, whether it's Windows or Mac, or even Linux for that matter. Whatever platform you're on, AirDroid is a really great app to grab. It's Android on the computer, essentially, and allows you to transfer your files very simply, very easily, and wirelessly. So keeping in mind that it's going to be as fast as your data connection on a wireless end. You can do it wired. You can do this with other cloud sync services like Dropbox. At the end of the day, data transfer on your Android is really up to you and how you want to do it. What software, what you want to use, whether it's free or paid, the method you want to do it in, it all comes down to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. Don't forget to check out the previous chapters, and of course, check out the next video.